Hello, BIO60 students. Great to have you guys here. This will be a little welcome video that will walk us through a little bit how the course will be run. I'm going to go over things like the syllabus, take you through your textbook, and kind of give you an overall kind of how I set up my online courses. And I promise after a couple of weeks, you'll get the hang of things, and I try to keep every week the same in terms of assignments due and so forth. So my name is Elizabeth Bamer. I've been teaching at Long Beach for the past 6 or 7 years now, anything from anatomy to physiology to human biology to contemporary biology. I also teach workshops in the Multidisciplinary Success Center. I've been teaching online since COVID, so I'm kind of a purely online instructor at this point. And as you kind of come to my page, you'll get to the welcome page where you can click my picture for this welcome video message. You'll notice on the left-hand side, you'll want to check announcements weekly because I'll post a weekly announcement kind of listing for you the assignments due that week. I set up my class in modules, so you'll also want to spend a lot of time in the module section. The opening introduction module is where you'll see this welcome video. You need to do this who am I discussion where we'll get to know each other a little bit, and I'll find out why you're taking this class. I've linked the syllabus, and there's a syllabus quiz, really easy quiz, just to make sure that I know you've read the syllabus. There's a little bit of how to register for the textbook. You can click on the My Lab and Mastering in the left-hand side, and it'll take you right to the Pearson textbook, which will get you to kind of a screen that looks like this. It'll give you kind of the e-text, the electron version of our textbook, and that's really all we'll be using in for this course. I won't be assigning any assignments in the My Lab and Mastering, but the My Lab and Mastering will take you to access to the textbook. And you'll also see what textbook it is in the syllabus. So if you want to buy, a physical copy of the textbook or an older version, I'm totally fine with that. The one thing that you will be using from the textbook is that in the textbook at the end of each chapter, there are what is called kind of the reviewing the concept questions. And I don't assign any assignments in My Lab and Mastering because I like to give you guys the option of getting this textbook maybe, cheaper from a different source, but you do need a textbook because whether you're using the electronic version or a physical hard copy, at the end of each chapter, there's this section called Reviewing the Concepts, where you will see multiple choice questions, not very many. Usually there's maybe like 8 to 10 multiple choice questions. These Reviewing the Concepts questions at the end of each chapter are what you need to kind of type out and submit a response to show me that you've read the chapters and then done those questions. So those are the Reviewing the Concept questions that you'll find at the end of each chapter. And that's what I refer to when I ask you to complete those Reviewing the Concept questions. And again, you'll find them at the end of each chapter. So back to the modules, I have you guys watch a couple of online classroom videos. I know many of you have been through COVID and have done online classes before, but these videos offer some great tips on how to take an online class. So I want you to watch those videos on online learning. There's 2 of them, and then give me a little feedback on both of them. So I ask you to watch the video and then list 2 things you've learned from the video, as well as respond to a classmate. So please watch those 2 videos that give you some study tips on online learning, and then tell me 2 things you've learned. So you have several assignments due just this first week, which will be February 11th at midnight. All weeks, as you will soon learn, start on a Monday morning and end at Sunday at midnight. So all assignments for each week will be due Sunday at midnight, except for the last week of this course, which ends on Wednesday, June 5th. And I'll give you lots of reminders about that. I also have you do a final project in which you watch a human biology documentary video of your choice and send it to me for approval, and then write a paper on it. And this is the grading rubric that I will base that paper grading on. So lots of information in the introductory module. Then getting into the first module. So I divide the course into 5 modules. And each module runs between 3 to 4 weeks long. And you'll notice that in each module, there will be weekly assignments. So again, in the whole course of this semester, there's about 5 modules because each module ends with a lecture test. So within each module, this first module runs Monday, February 5th to Sunday, March 3rd. You'll notice that you kind of have to self-pace your studying. And I would encourage you to try to get through 1 to 2 chapters in your textbook a week. And I kind of help you with that pacing because I will have either a discussion or a reviewing those concepts end of chapter questions for each week based on that chapter that I want you to get through. So for example, I give you a lecture video, and you can find that on the YouTube channel. And then there's the reviewing the concepts end of chapter questions that you need to submit, either by most students in the past have just submitted a Word document. And then there's a chapter 1 discussion post. And I give you discussion posts usually every week, but you'll notice in this first module, I only have 2 discussion posts for you because I try to give you a chance to get used to the course setup. But whenever you do have a discussion post, and sometimes I give you 1 discussion post a week, sometimes you'll notice there are 2 discussion posts to do a week. So just because this is an online class doesn't mean there's no work to do. Many times in an online class, there's more work to do. But the discussion post that is due February 18th, your first one is due February 18th. So I give you a couple weeks to do this one, is to find an advertisement and post it or include a screenshot that makes a scientific claim. Use critical thinking skills then to evaluate that claim. So find an advertisement like you need to drink calcium to survive or you will not be healthy. Post that screenshot because we are just inundated with healthcare ads in this day and age. You know, drink this energy drink, take this supplement. I want you to evaluate one of those kind of healthcare advertisements and tell me if you think it's valid or not. In each discussion, you need to post an initial post, and then you always need to respond to 2 classmates. And this first a couple discussion posts are a little different because I give you them to do a couple weeks to do them. But normally when there's discussion posts weekly, you have to get your initial post in by Wednesday at midnight. It needs to be at least 150 words with a citation. I don't care how you cite it, but you need to tell me where you got your information from and make sure you're writing at least 150 words. And then you need to respond to 2 classmates. And those responses need to be more than just, hey, good job, or I agree. But in your replies to your classmates, they need to ask that classmate a question or continue the discussion somehow. So those replies to 2 classmates are always due Sunday at midnight. You are given 10 points for your initial post and 10 points for each reply post for 30 points total. And as long as you're getting your initial posts done by Wednesday and your reply posts done by Sunday, they're due. I'm usually a pretty easy grader and I give all points. Just make sure you're writing enough words and you're citing your sources. So you'll get very familiar with discussions because you will do about 16 discussions for every week this course. All right, and then you'll have chapter 2, the lecture video, reviewing concept questions, chapter 2 discussion post, which again, I give you a little more time to complete, the chapter 3 lecture video, reviewing concept questions, chapter 4 lecture video, chapter 4 reviewing concepts questions, and always at the end of each module, I have a lecture exam that's based on questions from those previous chapters that you've gone over. Also, by the end of module 1, you need to choose and email to me a human health documentary video for your final paper. So that's module 1. And I'll give you more instruction when we get to module 2. Normally in module 2, you'll see more discussion posts every week. But for this first module, the first month, I keep things a little lighter for you as you're getting through everything. In general, you know, basic homework that you see will be reading your textbook, doing these end of concept, end of chapter, reviewing the concept questions, your discussion posts. There might be some quizzes in there, and then the lecture exam. So that's how I structure this class. And every week begins on a Monday and ends on a Sunday night at midnight. And every week in the announcements section, you will see that I post weekly announcements on what is due that week. So you will be told over and over again what you have to do that week. I'll go ahead and share the syllabus a little bit for you, which you have access to. I'd encourage you to read the syllabus on your own. I won't go through it all right now. I am best reached via Canvas, messages, or email. And if you do want to set up a time to meet with me, I'm happy to do so. I've held office hours in the past, but students don't show up to them, and it normally just works better. Email me if you want to set up a time to meet, and we will, I'm happy to meet with you via Zoom or Microsoft Teams. I teach at about 5 other institutions right now, all online. So I'm very familiar with using all sorts of forms of communication. We can chat on the phone, Teams, Zoom. So please let me know if you have any questions with anything. Here's the required material. I'd encourage you to get the e-text version, but if you want to get an older version, that you're welcome to do so, because every version you get, I believe, has those end of chapter reviewing the concept questions. And that's what you need, because that's what you're going to be submitting your homework from. Let's see, what else? Just encouragement that you probably will need to spend at least 16 hours a week on this course, doing the various readings, watching the videos, and completing assignments like your discussions. There's a couple other things I wanted. Not having reliable internet access is not a valid excuse. You signed up for an online course, so I will never accept an excuse that something is late because you don't have internet access. So please make sure you have reliable computer and internet access. DSPS accommodations, student services, I think it's now called. So please reach out to them and I can give you more time for exams. Lecture exam. So I allow you to use notes and your book during the assessment, but you will need to study ahead of time because you might not have time to look through your notes and books to answer all the questions. And if you have a sort of accommodation, I can give you extra time too, but that accommodation needs to come from the student services, and then they reach out to me and tell me the increase in time you have. Those are the reviewing the concept chapter questions, weekly online discussion forums. You can look through those a little bit more. Orientation exercises, please do all those assignments listed in that introduction module, and then a little bit more information on that human biology documentary. Breakdown of grades, and then at the end of this course, no ChatGPT, no AI used. I have a zero tolerance for that. I need you to write your things in your own words. That is my how I operate in my classes. And then here's the schedule. So you'll see our schedule of topics and the module dates. A couple things to note: these important fall dates, you need to confirm them, but if you need to receive a refund or drop the course, do so by February 19th. And then after May 6th, you will get a letter grade. So just keep that in mind as well. So I'd like to keep these introduction videos short and sweet because I found it's best to just jump right into the course. And also, please email me, message me with any questions that you have. And I'm looking forward to a great course. Take care, everybody.